I've seen it too many times. Somebody has a short amount of time to make a very tough decision. The outcomes at stake have never been higher. There are all kinds of emotions wrapped around their decision. Their financial volatility, pride and self-esteem, perception of prominence in the community, and even more, like the well-being of their family or loved ones. And then, bam! They quickly and desperately make a decision based on how they're feeling in that very moment, rather than thinking about the long-term repercussions or what might be best for the situation. Trust me, I've done this way too many times, which is why I'm sharing this information with you today. I'm sure you've heard the phrases, go with your gut and follow your heart, not your head. Sometimes we'll even use our heads too much to make a decision and end up wasting precious time or overthinking the whole thing. Believe me, I'm all about using my heart and emotions to check in with how I'm feeling about the situation, but I believe we have to start using our head and our heart in conjunction with one another to make the best decisions, because each serve a deeply important role in decision making. Think of your feelings like a radar. When something pops up in your life, you get a blip on your radar to notify you that you're having a certain emotional response to a stimulus. For example, you might feel your stomach turn when someone says something hurtful to you, or you might feel a euphoric head high when that cute special somebody gives you that dreamy-eyed look across the room. This is completely normal. Heck, one of the most amazing human experiences is to ride the waves of emotion and feel what it's like to have our own subjective experiences. We also have to keep in mind that this response is completely subconscious, and we have very little, if any, control over how our mind and body initially responds to these outside events. What I want you to understand today is that once we've checked our radar and verified in our hearts how something makes us feel, we have to let our brain step in and do its job, which is making logical decisions. At some point or another, we've all acted completely out of raw emotion, with no heed to using our brains to figure out what the best possible outcome might be. Heck, just the other day, I may have used a few choice words over the phone when a customer service representative used the wrong tone with me and wasn't giving me the results I wanted. If you've ever had a similar occurrence, I'm sure that after you gave yourself a few minutes to cool down after the fact, you wished you could have gone back and said something else, or at least taken a deep breath before you gave an initial response. It's totally normal to become subjected to our emotions and let them carry us away. After all, we're only human, right? Wrong. Some of the greatest achievements in human history have come from years of planning, careful experimentation, and logical thinking. The first humanoids may have taken centuries to create fire and shelter. They had to have really sat down and thought about using archaic methods of engineering to develop a way to protect themselves and stay warm at night. See, these early humans were able to use their brains to adapt to their environment in order to develop a solution to best fit their needs for survival. In the 1960s, there's no way that we could have gotten 3 men to violently propel from a metal tube, travel nearly 250,000 miles through space, and safely land on the moon by getting emotional about the possibility of Russia beating us there. Or maybe it was faked. If NASA had made decisions based on their emotions, we may have lost more human lives because of a lack of attention to detail and the fine mechanics of sending a rocket through our atmosphere. The best inventions in history have come about the same way. I bet that after failing over 1,000 times, Thomas Edison was experiencing quite a slew of emotions before he was able to create one of the most profound innovations in the history of humanity. What all of these successes have in common is that their creators were able to separate their emotions from their task, whether it be assurance from their peers, pressure to succeed, or fear of failure, and use those emotions on their radar to navigate them to a final solution. We have so much to learn from these successful minds. If we take a moment to evaluate our emotions and recognize how a situation makes us feel, we can let our brains develop a logical path that will not only help us maintain a calm and collected emotional state, but also create for us a result that is based on the best outcome long term, rather than the best outcome for how we're feeling in that very moment. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. Let me know in the comments below, how have both logic and emotion helped you make the best decisions? How do you use emotion and logic in conjunction with one another? And maybe share some tips how you've been able to kind of calm yourself when the emotions get heavy and use your brain to develop a logical solution. Thanks again for watching, y'all. I'll catch you on the next video.